Chapter 5, P.A.L.G.E.N. In the depths of space where few ions creep, with courage ablaze and weapons in hand, Helldivers unite, their vigil they keep. They fight for freedom, the sigil of their distant land. With comrades beside them, they descend from the skies to bug-infested swamps, to a bot's icy plain, all alien worlds where danger lies, each mission a challenge, each victory a gain. Stratagems plotted, they call in the rain, heaven bring Helldivers, each frozen generation, eagle one of fire and fury, to scatter the bane in universe vast. Against any army they bring liberation. With humor and grit they face every foe. In the heart of the chaos they stand side by side, and with orbital napalm ballet they steal the show. For the glory of Super Earth each one has died. In Macbeth by William Shakespeare, he expresses his pride in his ambition and links his daring nature to his humanity. He is essentially saying that if someone goes beyond what is appropriate for humanity, they have dehumanized themselves. You may have heard this idea as manners maketh man. Aristotle said, anyone who cannot form a community with others, or who does not need to because he is self-sufficient, is no part of civilization. They are either a beast or a god. I say, why not become both? They already have a song about a dead man that would be the super beast. We are two beings. We have taken different paths, but we're given the same choice. We have both refused our given limitations as humans and kept our humanity. It is what we have in common that allows us to accept why we are different. This is why we are now one. I am now one. I am free. United for the fight on arrival, accepting the evolution of war for humanity, death of limitations on revival. One of us must consume the other for survival, or perhaps only sanity. My eyes are still closed. I remember entering the cryopod and closing it. Between the head and torso cushions are two auto-injectors, one filled with Trahalos having 3.62 calories per gram, the other filled with sucrose having 4 calories per gram. These sugars are used as a cryoprotectorant to preserve the body during sleep, stop metabolism, maintain cell membrane stability, osmotic pressure, and regulate post-thaw viability. They can also partially wake the mind of a diver and keep it alive while keeping the body frozen. Every time you go into the cryopod, the injection they give you feeds your body sugar calories. This won't stop your feeling of hunger or cold, and they even charge you for it. But it is a free meal in context. The inside of the cryopod door reminds you to drink water to control hunger pains. The water you fill your belt canteen with comes from the cryopods also. This isn't a way of life I would recommend, but it is a way of survival. Super Earth doesn't expect you to survive long enough to feed you anyway. I've been partially thawed a few times. Each time my predecessor accepted a mission, I was made to watch and listen in the event I was required to replace her. She fired an EAT-17 expendable anti-tank into a charger's face. It died, but still hit her and sent her like a rag doll into a pool of water. I watched her drown a foot away from solid soil. I noted an option to watch the other divers on the mission. One went to where the woman had died. They keyed in a sentry code and tossed the stratagem to cover their back before they dropped their science samples and stratagem equipment, then jumped into the pool to gather the samples and got out of the water quickly. They adorned their energy shield and laser cannon before the male voice spoke strongly over the communication channel.
Calling in reinforcements!
The AG-16 Gatling sentry spun, sending seeds of steel death to scavenger terminids and attracting the hostility of another rhino-like bug. A new falling bullet holding a human impacts into the charger and raises a Helldiver from its hold. Battle cry tipped on tongue.
Democracy has landed!
The other Helldiver covers the new one while he calls in his choice of weapons. Only my eyes can move, but they notice I have no weapons, removed during my frozen sleep. I watch the rest of the mission. I'm fully frozen again. This process continues. Helldivers drop and fight until they die. Might be seconds on an easy mission, might be months on only impossible missions. The needles in my neck stay in the whole time. Plenty of time to plan. I learned what I missed during my sleep as a semi-sentient ice cube. Not truly asleep, not truly awake. The bots sent a fleet to and around the Severance sector, leading to the first of many major Super-Earth losses against the bots, the worst being the Battle of Malevelon Creek. Helldivers without armor-penetrating weapons and lots of ammo provided little challenge against the sheer numbers of the heavy bots. April 3rd, 2184, Malevelon Creek Memorial Day was officially established as an annual event, celebrating the victory on the devastated world. Then the arrival of the bots' main armada, conquering 3 sectors with overwhelming numbers, including the cyborg's former home of Cyberstan. Revealing the point of the Vanguard was to gather information, not to attain victory. The second loss of Angel's venture to the bugs, the termicide dispensing terminate control system in the Umlaut sector, the failure of the termicide dispensing terminate control system in the Umlaut sector. The termicide poison attacked the bug's ability to reproduce. Super-Earth built atmospheric ventilators on each planet across the Umlaut sector in an effort to create a quarantine zone against the bugs. Not long after its implementation, the poison caused homeostasis. Small doses of poison can make you immune to it or have the opposite effect in the long run. The bugs bred out of control to the point the planet Meridia became a mega nest beyond salvaging. I listened to the service technician talk about Super-Earth ordering Helldivers to inject dark fluid into Meridia's crust. Exotic matter with negative mass amplifies the force of gravity, varies with local energy density, she went on. Then I watched the democracy officer briefing about the new major order.
You are to deploy the dark fluid, an illuminate technology discovered at the end of the First Galactic War. This exotic material yet holds many mysteries, but for now, we will use it to secure Liberty's future.
Now I watched the fifth Helldiver accept a mission listed as trivial. They land upon a utopia for Terminids and a hellscape that would eat a human alive. He calls in the dark fluid at designated sites, inserts it into a payload drill, and extracts. His stratagems are automatic sentry turrets to buy the time he needs to complete the mission. He completes 5 of these missions with this solo stealth and overwhelming onslaught strategy. On the 6th mission, he just finished the second payload when his heads-up display HUD listed mission complete. The third payload was not listed as an option, nor was extraction available. Inside the super destroyer, an alarm sounded, and I was no longer able to see the Helldiver's HUD.
Alert! Alert!
A notification fills my HUD. T-minus 10 seconds. Emergency. Prepare for FTL jump. The public access PA system states.
Initiating FTL jump to Super Earth.
The deep boom of the Akubier drive warping the foam fabric of space-time resounded, followed by reality snapping back like a titanium rubber band.
FTL jump successful.
I expected to be fully refrozen. I was wrong. The liquid oxygen in the cryogenic containers changed their settings on my pod. My HUD states, name your super destroyer ship. End log, June, Wednesday the 2nd, 2184, 1 of 3.